Hello everyone, I'm back again. Never doing this again. Back-to-back sessions are really stressful actually. But yes, I'm Kev. I am a coach at Major League Hacking. I use the he, him, his pronouns. I do a lot of different things, so feel free to talk to me about anything. Let's get this off the screen again. So now I'm gonna bring you with a section of utilizing Unix, and we're gonna go over some basic commands, some cool things. And just a lot of your fundamentals of just moving around. Um, yeah. So let's get started soon. I am just getting us ready for this. Let's see. So we're going to be using replit.com again. That's one of the really useful things you can utilize, especially when you're learning things, because it's just a really simple way for you to have a sandbox to play around with. So before we get started, make sure you check in. The check-in link is in the chat. And here is the link to replit.com. If you don't have an account, feel free to go grab an account right now. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me as we're going along with stuff like this. But yes, let's bring some music back on a lower volume. And then, let's see, we will use this mode. Cool. If you've been watching the stream with me for most of the day, we have gone through like every stages of my wallpaper. We've gone from like super bright to super dark. So that's definitely super interesting. We're going to be using Replit. We're going to create a new repository. We're going to look for Bash. So we're going to be using Bash. And then we're going to name this. I'm going to name it what you want. I'm going to name it Global Hack Week, October. And then for Global Hack Week October, I'm going to do dash intro into Unix. Great. It'll generate you a replit for you to use. The key thing here we're going to really look into is more so the console as we're going along. I'm going to hit this so you can see this better. But yes, let's see. So we're going to actually minimize this side. Here is echo shell. We're just going to take this, the console. Actually, the shells we're going to be working with mostly. We're going to actually generate one file. We're going to call it notes.txt. This is really just to help us navigate and take some notes as we go along to help people remember things. We're also going to learn a few basic things. So first things first, I'm going to give everyone a few minutes to, one, get joined in, also to create a Replit account, as well as get one of these sessions going. Once that's complete, we'll go from there. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in chat. But yeah, okay, cool. So we have this. This is called a shell. We're just gonna do a really quick introduction to Unix shell. So our first basic thing we have to understand is we're gonna first do ls. ls is a command. ls stands for list system. This would list everything that is currently in your system. So ls, and then you have arguments when you're working with a command line. You have a lot of arguments you can pass it. So ls-l it lists it in a better way. So ls-l will list system in list view. So I'm gonna copy this down so it's easier to read. I'm gonna standardize some stuff real quick. I'm just gonna do this. So you know that ls is list system, ls-l lists it in system view. Then you have ls-la, which will list system in list view, including hidden files. So if I do a ls -la, you can see that I also get our hidden files allocated. So all the .cache, .replit, all those files that wasn't there prior. If I do a bash, you can see now I'm in a bash shell, and you can see I have LL, which essentially has been pre-programmed to list more stuff. I can also CD tilde. CD tilde will get me to the root of where we, let's go back real quick. We'll cover that in a second actually. So I'm gonna hit clear. Feel free to ask me any question. I'm gonna actually turn off this banner. There we go. In chat, if you ask me any questions in chat, the next thing we're going to go over is we just went over how to list things in a system. We're going to look at cd. cd is a really common command. Cd stands for change directory. This is how you will actually move around within the file system. So if I do a ll, you get list all your directory. ll works. ll has been shortcutted essentially. There's been a shortcut in, so ll actually is just doing ls-la. This might not work in all command. It's called an alias. So ll has been aliased to be ls-la. It's the only reason why it works on your replit. If you have not generated a replit account, we're going to go over a lot of basic things. So after that, we have cd, right? So you can see that if I actually just cd, change directory. So if I do cd ... what this does is this changes change directory to the parent directory. So it basically changes directory to the directory that it was in, right? So if I do ll right here, you can see that we were in the directory global hack week init. Global Hack Week October intro into Unix is the directory we're in. I did cd ... took this one out. Another thing that is really cool is cd-. cd- changes directory to the directory you were in for the last cd. Did I spell that wrong? Change directory. There we go. So how this works, essentially, if I do cd-, it takes us back to wherever we were. If I do cd- again, it essentially allows you to move between two of the directories. The next thing we're going to go over real quick is going to be creating actual directory yourself. So to create a directory, you use mkdir. This creates, or it makes a new directory. So let's say I am going to be in this directory. You can see that we have the folder. But if I just do an ls, you can see that there's only one folder in here. It might be easier if you just do an ls-l to see, okay, so there's that one folder. I'm going to make a new directory. So I'm going to do mkdir. I'm going to make this directory called, let's call it folder 1. If I do an ls-l, you can see now we have folder 1 here. I can make multiple directories at once too. I can make directory folder 2. I can make folder 3, folder 4. How this would do is just create multiple of those directories. So you can see I have now folders 1 through 4 has been built. From there, I can now use cd, which is a change directory command, to enter a directory in here. So I'm going to cd it to folder 1, and then I can see that in there should be nothing. This one is just saying that you can use ... to go back to one prior. You can use ... to go to the current one. Essentially, a dot references the current directory. A ... references the previous directory. One second. Okay, cool. So next on our list is we're going to go over, we just went over how to create directories. Let's learn how to make files. Files you can make using the command touch. Touch basically creates a file. Most of the time you do want to use the command touch. You can also directly open a file within, let's say, a command like text editor. We'll go over what that is in a bit later. But if you use touch on a file, it'll create it in there. So for example, in folder 1, I'm going to touch. I'm going to call it file 1. I can give it any extension. Essentially, is your extension is just what tells your computer what type of file that is. It does not matter what you can name it. I can make a custom extension called kev, and I can do ll. See, now there's a file one called file1.kev. So I can touch multiple files. I'm going to do cd dot dot, as we learned to move behind it one directory at a time. I'm going to do ll to list all those folders in this directory. I'm going to move into folder 2. And then I'm going to do another touch, and then what I'm going to create is called file2. And now we have 2 files and 4 folders that has been created for us. We're going to go into the next command. Feel free to stop me at any time to review any of these. The next command we're going to learn is pwd actually. pwd stands for print working directory. Essentially what that does is allows me to get, if I can hit enter, it prints out the current working directory. But yeah, okay, cool. So I am now going to do ll again. So I'm going to cd into, let's say, another directory to show you that. So I'm going to cd into global hack week, and I'm going to do a pwd. I might say pwd, I meant to say pwd. It shows you the current path in your system to the directory you're currently in. From there, we're going to go over the next command. There is a command called cat. It normally stands for concatenation. I think it still does, but it also prints it out. So let's say I'm going to go first cd dot dot, move back one directory, go into ll. I'm going to cd into folder 1 because we already made a file in there. I'm going to do another ll to pull up all things in the file. Another thing we're going to learn real quick is vim, and we're going to learn nano, and we can learn emacs. All 3 of these are command line text editors. So it allows you to edit text or files directly in the command line. So I'm going to put these in. All just different flavors. I like Vim personally. I see if Vim is on the system. Vim is not. It's down the system today. It's not. It's Nano on the system. Nano is not. It's Emacs on the system. Emacs is not. These are one generally you can install into your Unix machine. It happens to just be not installed in our machine. So what we're going to do is actually, I'm going to pull this out a bit. And now you can see if I go in here and if I click on sync, wait. Oh, is this a different place? Let me see. So first I'm going to do cd dot dot. I'm going to do ll. I'm going to go into global hack week command and do ll. Okay, yeah, okay. So this is located inside global hackling entry is what this file system shows us, which we can actually take this opportunity to learn our next command, which is mv. mv stands for move, or it can also be used for rename. So for move, you would use mv, and then you would do file. You're moving to the directory you're moving to. This does the actual move command. If you do mv, and you do file to file, and it's the same file, this will rename it. So I will use a move command real quick. So I'm going to do cd dot dot, move back into one directory ahead. I'm going to do ll. I'm going to do move. I want to move all the folders. You can move more than one thing at a time. So I'm going to say I want to move folder 1. I want to move folder 2. I want to move folder 3. I want to move folder 4. And then I also want, I think that's all the folders are made. So I'm going to move all of them into global hack week. So now if I do ll, you can see they're no longer there. And you can even see on the left panel that these folders all got moved and populated into here. Because we don't have a command line text editor built into this bash on Replit, what we're going to do is utilize our direct editing ability through this file. So I'm going to do ll. I'm going to do cd dot dot. I'm going to do ll. Well, I'm going too far out now. So I can remember cd minus, brings you 1 back. I'm now going to cd into global hack week. I'm going to do ll. Okay, so we can see the folders in there now. What we're talking about initially was the notes command. I'm going to bring the notes one down. So this is our notes right now. I'm going to show you cat, which will concatenate everything in that file and then print it out for you. So I'm going to do cat notes. Notes.txt. If I cat notes, you see that everything I have here just got printed terminal for you. That's what cat does in that instance. The next thing we're going to learn is now you understand how to search, how to get a whole file. We're gonna learn two more cool tricks. One, first thing is called clear. Clear clears the current terminal to essentially remove everything. Terminal. So if I do a clear, you can see it just cleared out all my terminal, so you get a fresh, clean, new terminal for you to work with. After that, we're going to look at the next thing, which is we can look at, which is grep. Grep is a search command. All you gotta do is, the format for this command is grep, and then you do your search criteria, criteria, and then your file. So I'm gonna put these in brackets. So for example, I'm gonna do a quick search. I'm gonna do a grep. I'm gonna search the no text file, but I need to first try what I'm searching in it. I want to search for the word MB and the no text file. You can see that once I did that, I said look for MB in the no text file. It found everything in the no text file that has MB. Following that, I'm gonna take a quick sip of water. If anyone have any questions, feel free to drop into the chat. Yeah, we're going over just some basic Linux commands and understanding of things. I'm gonna blow this up. Okay, cool. So next, what we're gonna go over is this. This is called pipe. It allows you to take the output of one command and feed it into another. So a good example is if I do a PS, it shows me, you don't have to worry about what PS is. It shows me essentially all the processes that's running on my computer right now. I can go W, shows me all the user that's logged in. There's currently no user logged in. So I'm going to do clear. So what I might do is, let's say I might want a cat. Let's say I'm going to cat notepad, note.txt, right? But from the cat, I just want you to display the grep of MB. So you see how I didn't use grep, I didn't have the file. All I told it was, I first want you to take the notepad.txt, I want you to print it all out, and then I fed it through the pipe command, and I told grep to print out all, well, like to filter it, and just only leave what has MB in it. That's what the pipe character does. So we went over ls, cds, make directory, password, pwd, cat, vim, nano, emacs. We went over a lot of this. Let's see how far the system is actually built out here. And let me just make sure I've done most of what we want to do here. So let's do this. So I'm going to right now go to the root directory. Let's see. So we are, is this no further root? It should be further. cd cd ll. Cool. So this is the furthest, and we're going to now look at some Linux or Unix system setup, and we're going to break down some of those. So to do that, I'm going to need a helping hand from my computer. Hold on, give me 1 second. So we're going to go over the Linux file system, and we're going to take a look at it and see how it's built. I'm just going to grab a quick, just to make sure I have this referencing down. Let's see. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go over just this. So first thing you can see that we have bin. Bin is set to user bin. Bin is where all the user binary is stored. You have boot, which stores all your bootloaders. You have dev, which stores all your device files. You have etc, which stores all your system configuration. It's one of the most important files in your computer. This is all the system configurations for this box. And then we're going to go back out one. We have home, which home stores, where's home? Oh, I'm going to do LL real quick. Home stores all the user's home directories. You have lib, which stores all the libraries and kernel modules for your Linux to work. You have media, which stores all your removable media mount points. You have mount, which is the mount point for any temporary mounted files. You have opt, which adds on any application software packages. You have, we're going to skip proc, we're going to skip repel, we're going to skip root. Then you should have sbin, which stores all your system binaries. You have srv, which stores all your data for services that you have running on your computer. You following that have temp, which stores your temporary file. You have user, which stores your user utility and application files. You have var, which stores all your variable files. And then you should have a root, which we do. Root stores is the home directory for the root user, which is the most powerful user in the Unix system. And then you have proc, which is a virtual file system for all your processes. If I go to proc right now, right, if you do LL, you can see this is everything that is currently running on your computer. Linux and Unix is a really special system. Essentially, everything is a directory structure system. Every file, every single process, everything is just a directory in Linux, Unix. They have made it a lot easier to look at. Another thing we can take a look at, which is pretty important to your system, is we've been over, etc has certain files that set up your system, including things like all your config files for your groups, for, let's say, your init file for your users and all that. So I'm gonna do I think it's cd, it's not security, I don't think so, but let's check sec or ll. Yeah, it's not security. Security is a configuration for one of the security systems. Let's take a look what we have here. System D is and system control D. Those are for your services on your computer. Oh, there's pwd. So if I do cat p, what do they call it? Pass pwd. You can see this is all the users that are currently in your Linux machine. So you have your root, you have daemon. It goes username, user ID, user group ID. And then where the actual shell that your user is going to use is stored. So you can see this is all this. This is everything for services. And then you have we're currently in as runner. Runner X, it's our user ID is 1000, our group ID is 1000, and we have access to a bin bash shell. Let's see. What else can we do real quick? That's pretty cool. Let me just look. Let's see. So we have other files in here that are pretty important. For example, your home directory. This lists all your users. We only have one user on the system, which is runner. Runner is the user in. So runner's home directory is where our stuff is going to be stored because we're in as a user account runner. You can see Global Hack Week October, Introduction into Unix. So let's back out, and then we're going to take a look at our next thing, which is where am I going to go? Let me make sure. So we've been over etc, we've been over home, we've been over proc. We can look over into root. You can. So I can do SU, stands for switch user. I just don't know the password for root. I highly doubt the password for root. It's like if I switch it into root, I'm gonna try root. I'm gonna be wrong. I'm gonna try this again. I'm gonna try Tor. I'm just trying a lot of the basic Linux command or Linux default user. I'm gonna try su root. I'm gonna try the password as admin. I'm gonna try this as now. We'll try password. Cool. So we can't get into the root account, which is pretty fine, but we're gonna add to your notes file. So SU stands for switch users. I'm gonna switch these two so you can see better. I'm gonna put this on the bottom because we're actually not actively working on the file. Cool. Yeah, I don't know if there is any questions, comments, concerns in chat. Okay, cool. Yes, let's see. We're gonna take a short break here for a couple seconds. We'll be right back. I'm just gonna grab some other stuff we can take a look at. We blow over this pretty quickly. I'm gonna prep some other things real quick. But SU allows you to change your user. Let me think of any other command I can go. So there's also a lot of different type of shells. So this is a bash shell we're in. Let's see if any other shell here is on. So I'm gonna try a K shell. No, did I have a T shell? Did I have a C shell? Okay, Z shell. We don't have any of the other shells installed, which is perfectly fine. I want to clear this. We will be right back. Let's see. If anyone have any questions, feel free to drop it into chat. Okay, cool. Let's see. I just need to think of something else we can do in here. Let's see if we can break some of the system. So LL, LS, LS, LS. So we have bin ls. So we have your temp file, your run file, your store, your boot, your inject file, your lid for the system to work, your repel file. Actually, let's go over some bash stuff. We're gonna go over some bash RC stuff. Bash is one of the more common. Bash is one of the more common shells. Bash stands for. I should know this on top of it. It's like I think born bash shell. I just need to double check. I don't want to be wrong here. Bash is UNIX shell. It's run by Brian Fox. It's the replacement for the Bourne shell, actually. So there's a shell prior to Bash. Bash is the replacement of the Bourne shell. Let's look at some Bash configuration. So if you do CD by itself, it takes you to your home directory. So let me actually clear real quick. I'm gonna CD into my home directory. So you can see there's something called Bash RC. I'm gonna add that into our notes. Is that CD into our home directory? CD by itself brings you into your home directory. If anyone have any questions, feel free to ask in chat. If anyone's new is joining us, feel free to let us know, and we'll catch you right up. Run some music real quick. Okay, cool. So let's look at our bash RC. So first things first is we're going to need to move. We're going to make a copy. Actually, did we go over CP? We did not. So CP stands for copy. allows you to copy files through just your command line interface. It allows you to instantly copy files. So it works by using CP and then file, and then you pass it to your new file location or file path. So we're gonna first CP our bashrc because there's no command line interface built in for editing. So we're gonna first copy our bashrc into our global hack week repo. Oh, I'm not gonna rename it. So now you can see we do have a bashrc. Let's take a look at what's written in the default bashrc. So I'm gonna open that up. You can see that I'm gonna +2, bring up notes. I don't want to close out notes. So in their default bashrc, they have a few commands in here already. Actually, there's a lot of commands here to make your life easier. So you see, so they even have a completion thing that allows you to complete. But your bashrc is essentially the configuration file that you first load when you enter it. So those are generally all your RC files. So you have a lot of files such as your bashrc. You have files such as your vimrc. And these are just files that will automatically load certain configuration for the software the second you land and you load it. I'm going to pull up a Linux file system structure. Let's take a look at. So let's click F11, open this up, drop this in here. So you can see that as of this, there is a lot of file systems and type of files are in there. So your bin is also where all your actual commands are stored, such as your cat command, your kill, your login, etc. Your boot is where a lot of your static files for your bootloader are stored. So when you boot up your computer, what actually loads, and there's just a huge file system. And then let's take a look at our bin file. So the second, technically, when I type things such as like that, well, let's see, what's a good one? Like CD. What it's actually doing is going to our bin file and calling bin CD. Actually, it's not in our bin. It might not be. I'm gonna CD into our bin file. Then let's take a look. So let's see, CD CD bin ll. So you can see these are all things and commands that has been in here. So let's see if we can find some commands. So like ls is technically in bin. So if I do ls, it's going to be me doing bin/ls. You see bin/ls doesn't have as much coloring. It's solely because there's additional things that are already built in. So when you run ls, it actually, and not just running ls by itself, it's actually running ls. I think it's doing ls color. To auto, I think that's what it does. There we go. So you see, doing this is what's been aliased as what ls actually does. But yeah, I don't know if there's any questions for me. If not, we might take a short break for a couple of minutes and then we'll get right back to this. So we're gonna go, I'm gonna leave this on screen. I will be right back. So if anyone has any questions, let's take a look. I'm gonna leave this on screen. And I see we will be right back. We're gonna Okay, cool. So we're back. I need to figure out what else we can show you and do since we've learned a lot. There's not been that much questions, so let's take a look. What else we can explore, and it would be cool to show you guys. Let's show you how aliases work, and we might this workshop a tad bit early. You guys seem to be pros at a lot of this. Isn't that really cool? That was a really cool feature I just saw. Like, it allows you to watch it, essentially type out everything I've done. That's pretty cool. So I'm gonna hit cancel. I'm gonna go down here. So next we're gonna go over is what we call aliases. An alias, it allows you to set commands to certain commands. So an example of this would be, let's say, I kind of went over this a bit, which was the alias for ls, because ls is technically just a command that is stored within bin. So if I do /bin/ls, I meant backward slash forward. I can also get that, but you see it's not colored. So technically this bin/ls, all it has been done is someone aliased it to be ls. So how you do alias is you do alias and you call what everyone calls. So they just alias ls to actually be equal to the command ls dash color equals auto. So if, for example, if I run this, well, they do this with bin/ls color. So if I do bin/ls and I do dash and I do color. Hi, welcome to the stream. We're just going over your basic Unix commands. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you're just joining us, we can go over some of the stuff we went over already. But you would just do ls color, and then you would do color is equal to auto. So you can see how I got the same result, but this is just ls. So I can technically alias it back to what it used to be without the color. I would just do alias. Let me disable this banner. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're going over basic Unix commands. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me. We can also, if you're new, we can go over what we've gone over so far. But we're going over how aliases work right now. So I can technically do an alias, and I can do alias. I can alias ls to just equal what it used to be, which was just /bin /ls, and then do that, right? So now if I do ls, you can see there's no longer a color because I took the ls command and alias back to what it was. I can technically do ls, let's say c, and then I can make a new command. So for example, before right now, if I do lsc, it says command not found. But if I start creating alias called alias lsc, it's equal to bin ls, and I can do --color. Is equal to auto. Now if I do lsc, it gives me the color version of ls, but if I just do ls, it gives me regular ls. And this is really prominent if I show you in like a command like this, because ll currently calls ls. And because ls has been changed, you can see that there's no longer that many color, and this means more if I go one more out, you can see that there's no more color. It's all pure white. But if I do a ls-c, you can see that it does like that. But if I do ls-c dash give it more arguments to make it look at what the other one looks like, it would look like this, right? So what happens is I can always alias it back. You can do so much of aliases, right? So if I want to shortcut, let's see, kind of SSH in here. I can. So let's say if I want to shortcut a path, right? I can totally do. I use let me cd real quick. So it brings me to my home directory. So let me actually fix ls again. So I'm gonna do ls is actually equal to, I'm gonna alias. You can make alias another alias, right? So I can alias ls to just call ls to just be calling lsc. Oops, let me finish that quote. So I can just do this, and I can do ls now. It's back to color, but what actually is occurring is ls is just calling lsc. So if I change lsc, it would have gone back to what it was. So for right now, if I now do for example, ll again, it'll be in color again, because what now it's doing is there's a multiple link. ls is now calling lsc. lsc is then calling the proper ls command that was in ls because I overridden certain aliases multiple times. So for now, I will show you if I go into so let's say I this is a customization you can always do. So let's say I use Global Hack Week October directory a lot. Inside this directory, I use let's say folder 1 a lot, folder 1, and then let's say I'm gonna build this out, right? So I'm gonna build more folders. So I'm gonna make dir. Let's call folder 1, 2, and then I'm gonna make and then I'm gonna cd into folder, change directory into folder 1, 2, and then I'm gonna make dir. I'm gonna call it folder 1, 2, 3. Right, so if I do you can see I'm so far nested in. And then let's say I'm gonna make one more folder. I'm gonna call it dev. I'm gonna cd into dev. And if I do a pwd, which again from our file above, it tells you the current path here. And you can see this is such a long path. You don't want to always type so much to get to this long path. So what you can do is you just copy your path. Make sure your copy worked. It did not work. That is the URL to the Linux hierarchy that I showed earlier. I'm gonna do that, and then let's see. Let me see if I can get this copy to work. So I'm gonna highlight this. I'm just gonna go to copy. So now it works. I'm gonna clear this out. So I'm gonna write an alias that essentially allows me to, I think maybe call it dev, right? I call it alias dev, and I'm gonna tell it this command should just cd me into my dev file. So I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do erase, and then I'm gonna close this, right? So now, if I am, let's say, on my home directory, all I gotta do is click on dev, and it'll take me to a dev directory because I created an alias that leads me to my dev directory. So that is really useful to like create your own shortcuts, essentially. Shortcuts, so you can move around. Another thing that's really cool is something called a symbolic link. So I'm gonna show you how to make one of those real quick. Symbolic link essentially is it's actually a shortcut. Like I wrote a shortcut for a command that essentially CDs me there. But what a symbolic link is, it's legitimately the definition of a shortcut. So let me show you that. Symbolic link. I'm just gonna check one thing real quick. Okay, cool. So symbolic link is made by the command ln. So ln stands for, so I don't know what ln is, but I use it all the time. I don't know what it stands for. Let's see. Ln stands for, they always have an actual meaning. Let's see, ln stands for, in Linux, it stands for, I want to see. Oh, okay. So ln stands for link. That would make so much more sense. So it stands for link. So for you to make a symbolic link, you would just do a ln-l, -s, and then you would provide it an actual path, and then you can provide it the name of this directory /dir, right? So I'm gonna close this out. So I will do, let's say, I'm gonna make a symbolic link here. So I'm gonna cd into my home directory. So I want to make a symbolic link to dev here. So all I would do is I would do ln-s, and then I would paste in the path to our symbolic link dev, and then I would call it, let's say, dev, or dev best dev, right? So what this does is now you can see that in this folder, there's now a symbolic link from best dev, which will actually just take you all the way to my dev folder. So I can now, if I do a ls-l, you can see best dev, I can cd best dev. And this essentially is just a symbolic link to the folder I was in. So if I do like here, you can see best dev just links to dev. So if I do cd best dev, I can do let's do ll. I can do a pwd. Oh wait, that's not right. Let me see. Why did it do that? Oh yeah, it just made a shortcut to there. So if I actually want to do a symbolic link. If I want to do a ln-s and I just put in the path by itself, and I can do ll. You can see now there's one called dev. I'm gonna cd into dev. I'm gonna do a pwd. That's super odd. Pwd. Wait. Symbolic link should allow me to navigate around, so that's super odd. Let me check something. Symlink practice. I don't know if it might be because we're currently working on Replit is what might be causing this tiny issue. But yeah, so that is symbolic links. Essentially allows me to create a shortcut to go to wherever those are, and those will not show up in your folders. So I'm going to change my directory into Global Hack Week. October, I'm going to LL. So we just went over symbolic link, we went over shortcuts, aliases, bash RCs, vim RCs. We've been over copy, we've been over SU. If anyone have any questions, feel free to let me know in chat. This feature is really cool. I'm just going to let this feature run. For all the things that we've gone over, we went over how ls works, more how ls-l works, ls-la, we know how l is just currently alias to be ls-la is how that operates. We went over how change directory works, how to change directory to parent directory using ... change with minus, use to previous directory. We went over how make directory works, how touch works, how pwd prints your working path, concatenation works, your vim, your nano, your emacs, your move commands, your clear command, your grep commands, your search command. Your pipeline allows you to take one output of one CMD and then put it into another command. Your SU switches user, your CP copies files, went over what bash RCs are, what vim RCs are, went over how aliases work and how their shortcuts work using link or creating a symbolic link. Does anyone have any questions I can address? If not, we might take a look at how the bash RC looks in more detail. Okay. So bash RC is just a scripting language. What we are looking for, we're not going to read the whole entire thing, but we're going to look for some specific things such as, for example, like force color prompt. So this is probably setting color to certain things like PS1. PS1 is a really cool thing. PS1 is what your thing turns into, right? So this is saying PS1, some formatting, it should become the dvariant root plus dvariant root, and then it should be at the dash H stands for something, dash W stands for something, dash A stands for something, and then this is your PS1. PS1 is basically what's displayed. For example, I can do PS1 is equal to, I can do quotes, this hello, and then I can end it with this quote. So you see now my whatever this is called, my the thing to your left hand side to identify what you are is now just hello. So I can run commands as hello. It's actually pretty cool. You can do some customizations. There's a lot of cool things. You can do different colors. If I want to restore it, all I gotta do is run bash. If it's running bash, all it does is just reload the bash RC, which then restored my PS1. PS1 is something really cool to look at. Let's see what else is in this bash file. So you can see this is what the alias I was talking about. How all I did was an alias ls to ls dash dash color, and then it knows initially because it tells you there is, I think it's path. Not path. It is what? Maybe it's not path. There's something in here that also tells your computer to look for. Let me look that up. So it should. There's something that should tell your computer to look for all their actual binaries in bin. Here, how to tell your Linux machine where to find. We can go over a few things like that. I'm trying to see. There is a way you should tell where the binary files are located, or like how to set where binary files are. Binary file, view binary characters. I can't recall, but another thing that's really cool is you can do where is. And you can do where is, let's say, Python. So if you're on Unix machine and you're curious on like where a file is stored, you can always do where is Python 3. It'll tell you where Python 3 is. You can also always do think is it who is? Is it what is? Is it what is? What is Python 3? Okay, so then it's just where is. So where is Python 3? I'll tell you where that is. So if I do where is ls, I tell you where ls is stored, how it's linked. If I, let's say if I do an alias though, if I do alias, I'm going to do ls is equal to alias, ls is equal to bin slash ls. And I can do where is ls, it will tell me it's in the bin ls directory. So if let's say someone else, I can technically also do ls, I can alias it. So I'm going to do ls, I'm going to alias ls to Python 3, for example, or another command. I can do ls, I'm going to alias it to, let's say, Python 3, right? If I do where is ls now, it will tell me where the root of ls is. But if I do ls, you can see that ls is just running Python 3. I guess Python 3 is not installed on this version of Linux for Replit, but yeah. So you can see ls is now calling Python 3. I can make Python 3 call ls, so I can do, let's say, alias. Let's say this will call ls, and then I will alias Python 3 to ls. So now if I do Python 3, I'm going to get ls, right? And what's really cool here is if I do where is Python 3, it has no clue where Python 3 is because Python 3 actually doesn't exist. Because it's actually looking for where this binary starts. So if I do where is ls, even though if I change what ls is, it still knows that the actual ls command is stored in the bin file. Cool. So we went over a lot of things. I don't know if there's any question. We might call this early because you guys seem to absorb a lot of this. I'm going to run over what we've been over real quick. So I'm going to just terminate, make this bigger. I'm going to just close out the console, close out the shell. I'm going to close out this folder. And then we are going to use this feature one more time and scroll through anything. Feel free to stop me and I will answer any questions. But ready, set, go. So we went over ls, how ls works in the different formats in ls. We went over ls-l, ls-la. We went over what ll is, and most of the time it's already been aliased to a ls-la. We went over how change directory works, how change directory dot works. We went over how change directory minus works, how make directory works, how touch works. Touch creates a file. Make directory makes an actual directory for you. pwd prints the working directory. Cat command names, vim, and nano emacs are multiple different command line editing tools. You have your mv for moving the file or renaming. If you're moving, you do the file and the new directory path you're sending it to. If you're renaming, you just do file and your new file name. You have clear, which clears your terminal. You have grep, which will search. It's a search command for your terminal line. There's a jump there. I'm going to actually pause, scroll up. So go over things with grep, your search command. Your pipe command allows you to take output from one command and directly feed it into another. It's really handy when you need to run multiple commands into each other. Oh, also, we're actually going to go one more thing, but you have your SU, which will try to switch user to a different Linux user on that machine. You have your CP, which copies files into multiple different paths. You have --c.bimrc. You have alias, ls is equal to bin ls -color. So we'll remember how aliases work. You have shortcuts through ln, which creates symbolic links. ln stands for link. And we're actually going to go over one more thing. I was reminded of if you want to run multiple commands in succession. So I'm going to bring back up the console. I'm in the shell. So if I want to do multiple things, then I can do ls, and I can, let's say, do ls that will allow you to run multiple commands. I can do ls, right? So I run ls twice. Essentially, using a semicolon, it tells you run the first command and following on the second command. So I can technically do cd, let's say, folder. I can technically do multiple things. I can do ls. I want to print out the thing first. I can do cd folder 1, and I can technically do cd. I think I called it folder 1, 2. And I can run that one command, and that got me 3 commands in. All it does is it runs the first command before the comma. After that's completed, it runs the second command. After that's completed, it runs the next command. That comes in handy when you're writing scripts and stuff. I'm going to add that to my notes. So cancel the history with notes. So we're going to add, this is called chaining commands. You use this semicolon allowed for chaining of commands. So example, ls, comma, cd, comma, cat, comma, nano. So that would ls something, change directory to your home directory, it'll cat essentially nothing, and then it will run nano. But yes, if anyone has any question, I'll stick around for a bit to answer any questions, comments, anything you want to go over. If you're new and you're just joining us now, feel free to ask us any question. We just went over a lot of Linux stuff and Unix stuff, some basic Unix command, your navigation systems, how the file structure is set up in Unix, and stuff like that. But if not, I do want to wish everyone the best of the rest of your day. And make sure you stick around for the next workshop right after me. It's a pretty fun run. Let me grab some information for that. We're going to be doing the machine learning track part 4. So I'm going to put that in here. So edits. With, you're going to be going by Will at 8 p.m. EST will be our next thing. Make sure to stick around for that. I will be here answering questions. Make sure that if you have any questions, just drop in the chat. We went over a lot of Linux and Vim stuff. But yeah, I will be sticking around for a bit. And our next thing will be at 8 p.m., which will be Machine Learning Track Part 4 with Will at 8 p.m. And following that, the rest of the day of schedule, we have a lot of things packed in, a lot of fun. We have Quantum Computing Track 3 with Stefan at 10 p.m. EST. Then you are coming back with me. We're going to play some chess if you're interested at actually 12 a.m. next day, EST, where we're going to be playing some chess in the park. It's a new feature. We're going to be using the Discord and communicate, talk with each other, and just really play some fun chess. But no, if you have any questions, feel free to drop it. If not, I do wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Hope you have enjoyed a Global Hack Week, and feel free to join us. And make sure you stick around for the machine learning part 4.